Aloha, folks. Kyle here, bringing to you updates on the latest and greatest from PADI. Today's topic is a heavy hitter. We're going to talk about the digital form expansion. Coming soon, PADI is going to launch new digital form functionality and user experience for both the students and yourself as the instructor. I want to be able to cover that in depth here, starting with the student perspective, the pro perspective, and everything in between. If you haven't had a chance or haven't read the most recent training news, I definitely recommend going and looking at that, as well as this pro blog. Go to Google, type in PADI Pro blog, digital forms expansion, and it'll bring up this article right here, posted earlier this month. This article will walk you through all of the latest and greatest on the digital forms expansion, including the availability of all new forms for you to send your students, as well as 11 different languages for you to deliver them in, making it even easier for you to service your students here in PADI Americas. We cover all of the languages that are most used here in the office, and those come out right at launch with English. It does also cover some of the key considerations and a few of the changes that have occurred. Generally, the process is more or less the same, but I'm going to walk you through what you need to know. So let's all go somewhere we're familiar with, and that's the Online Processing Center 3.0. I am going to assign myself a code just so you can see what this looks like from the student perspective. And today I'm taking the rescue course. So let's give myself a rescue diver e-learning code. We're going to assign that code just like we did in the past. Search the student. Because this is a Con Ed course, most likely they're already PADI certified. And let's see if we can find it. Oh, we found it here. Let's go ahead and select that. Go ahead and check over the student information, including the email address that's being used. And as usual, the phone number is optional. Go ahead and confirm. Choose the language that you want to deliver your messages in right from the jump in terms of the e-learning registration, and click confirm. Now, you'll notice here this has changed slightly. In the past, you chose what course you would like to send the e-forms, relevant e-forms to your students in. Now, things are a little bit different. If you are still using paper forms, go ahead and check that box. But today, we're talking about digital forms, so we are going to use that option. First and foremost, select the language that your student wants the e-forms delivered in, making it even easier for them to complete those forms on time and get any relevant endorsements from their physician that they might need. Today, we're going to do English, but like I said, at launch, we'll have 11 different languages for you. We chose English, and this is going to bring up a new section here that we're not familiar with. However, super easy to use. This function allows you to choose which forms it is that you want your student to receive. Because we're doing Rescue Diver, we are, of course, going to need a diver medical form and, of course, the Con Ed administrative form. If you were doing something like Enriched Air, you could always include the Enriched Air Nitrox Diver training form if you would like. If you are unfamiliar with which forms are required for certain courses, don't forget to reference the instructor manual or the relevant specialty instructor manuals or Con Ed courses like even Freediver and Mermaid. All of those forms are available for you here as well. Once you've chosen the forms and the language that you want to deliver them in, you simply click confirm and send the email. Now, I've delivered myself a few codes today, so we're going to jump to a different course, but just so you can see the student journey. So here we will see the emails that are received. So first and foremost, of course, you're going to get the standard start your course email. It's going to tell you to start the course. If the student is already a PADI diver and has a PADI profile, they'll simply log in using their single sign-on, and it'll deliver them directly into the e-learning portal. Otherwise, it'll prompt them to create an account, and then we'll put them directly in the e-learning portal platform. In addition to that, it will also deliver them the required forms email. Simply states here, it tells you which forms were delivered to you, which need to be completed. And once you complete that, or once you click that button, it will take you straight into our new forms platform. That forms platform is called AirSlate, and it is much easier to use and responsive on mobile so that there's no more zooming and or swiping and zooming and so forth with your fingers on your phone. It's easier than ever to use. So you simply go through there and complete those forms as you would, as any other student would. Now let's see what the student looks like, the student e-learning portal looks like for that student as well. We know we sent myself, I guess, the rescue diver code. I sent myself an enriched air and advanced open water code earlier as well. And as you can see here, underneath digital forms, it shows enriched air diver. I had completed those forms. We'll talk about those in a second. I sent myself advanced open water, and it shows here that a signature is still required. Don't forget, you also have the forms button on the left-hand side, or the students do, where they can access any previously filled out forms or access any that still need to be completed. I'll be getting the rescue diver email here in just a second, and those will populate as well, but let's take a look back as the pro. So we had sent me as the student that new code, and let's go look at our process and view our students for assigned codes, right? Here you'll see 3 different entries for me, and I'll walk through them so that you can get different perspectives of different scenarios. But first and foremost, the OLPC still looks more or less the same. We'll notice with Rescue Diver that I did not complete the registration. I did not provide a photo, and the forms email has been sent, but I have not done anything with that yet. With Advanced Open Water here, it shows that I registered for the product, but I did not actually complete those forms. So again, it says email sent. Earlier, I sent myself the enriched air nitrox code. I did register for the product. I still did not put a photo in, but I did complete the forms. Now, this is where things change a little bit from the past. You might be familiar with the color-coded boxes. We had one that was red that would say medical needs review. If, for instance, I took the medical and I failed it, this blank still will not populate red. Instead, it provides you a clickable button for you to download the forms, and you as the pro, per standards and as written in the instructor manual, it is a requirement of yours to review the forms that were provided to your students and ensure that they are properly filled out. And if a medical is failed, ensure that they provide you physician's clearance. So what happens if I were to click here? It actually downloads a zip file of those files. When you download those files and want to look at them, it'll spit it out in a zip file. Like I said, it'll have all 3 of the forms completed by me as the student, regardless of if I failed a medical or not. And it provides digital certificates of when those were signed. These certificates do not provide proof that they were, for instance, you passed the medical, but rather it provides you a digital footprint in case you ever need to go back and reference for any reason, legal issues or not, when those forms were signed. But let's take a look at what the diver medical looks like when it's exported. So I pulled out my diver medical here. It was completed. And as you as the pro are reviewing it for the student, you go through and say, oh, look at that. He answered yes to number 3. And as we all know, if you answer yes to 3, 5, or 10, or any of the secondary questions, it does require physician's approval. We created a signifier here that allows your student, as they are going through the digital forms, to confirm that they have read this, and that if they do fail the medical, that they do need a physician's signature. It does allow them to download the forms. It does show their endorsements, and it provides the physician the ability to endorse this and allow them or not allow them to continue on with training. You as the pro, it is important for you a few nights in advance, a week in advance, or whatever time frame you prefer to go in and review your students' progress through e-learning. As you go through and look at their progress through e-learning, it is also up to you to look and review at the forms, just like it's stated in the instructor manual and always has been. So make it common practice a couple nights in advance or so forth to go in, download the forms, and look at each of them to ensure that they were completed properly. It also gives you the ability and enough time in advance so that you can contact that student to ensure that they've gone to see a physician and gotten the proper approval. Once they bring that form to you, you always have the same functionality to take picture or scan that and upload them in here to clear them for their primary medical so that they can be processed. It also stores those files in the PADI system so that you can access them at a later date. Don't forget to take the time to look up the PADI Pro blog and read the Digital Forms Expanded article that covers all of the forms available to you at launch, all of the languages available to you at launch, as well as any key considerations, and it even provides you example run-throughs of different types of students. So that's Digital Forms rolled up into one. I hope you guys have a great day, and don't forget, respect and protect the locals.